I don't know how many of you know what UiPath is. UiPath, I joined UiPath a few years ago through their first acquisition. I had a startup, and basically we developed an intelligent document processing platform, which was acquired by UiPath 6 years ago. And then I joined UiPath. And I went through UiPath, started as an RPA company and so on, and they had to rebrand so much. And especially now when this AI revolution, is going on, it's really hard for the companies to keep the pace with this technology, how it's developing. So what I will try to show you the way how we say that one of the ways to deploy AI in the enterprise, it's through this AI-based automation platform that we have. Our CPO likes to say that the AI is the brain and our platform is the muscle. So makes everything what the AI decides actionable. Basically, we know that AI, it's basically tried to start to surpass what the humans do in certain domains. And still, if I think you share the same experience with me, there is it's a big caution in the big companies to start using this. And these are a few of the causes which we encounter. The UiPath platform is basically, we provide a platform that has a lot of products in it and allows basically to get context from different sources and actually to get all this context and we do a discovery of different things, and then we use generative AI. We integrate with all the models with most of the models on the market. And definitely we have something called a specialized AI, which are, you will see, specific AI models, even small LLMs, which solve the different problems. And of course, you cannot deploy this without having a trust layer. And we will talk about that. And definitely one of the big things that we talk about, we make everything actionable so that everything what we determine through the AI, we can bring to the enterprise systems in order to make everything actionable. Now, everybody reads about Copilot, Autopilots, and all these pilots which appear. Basically, in our opinion, this Autopilot is nothing else but a way to deploy AI packaged together with some specific workflows which help different activities. And these autopilots, and where we use the generative AI, it basically helps in different things. So first of all, through generative AI, you enhance the quality and accuracy of the activities in an enterprise. Then you supercharge the productivity of people, and then you can learn to automate more and more. And we will show you examples of all of this, what we mean by that. So talking about how we enhance the productivity, the target of our Autopilot. So Microsoft has Copilots. Now we have Autopilots. Everybody asks us, do we compete? We don't compete. We are frenemies. So we basically work together. Copilot can call us and we can call Copilot. I don't want to compete Microsoft when they work with the Office products. You cannot. But they cannot do certain things that we know. And so we work actually very well with Microsoft also. And I will show you one of them, the Autopilot, what the Autopilot does for the developers. Hopefully we'll hear the sound too.
Efficiency, minimize errors, and supercharge your productivity to automate the most important processes. Today, we are automating the process of onboarding customers in SAP by creating customer data and populating it into our system. Typically, this system is not accessible to new customers for self-service, so we will build a public app for this. Previously, it would take developers a significant amount of time to get everything working end-to-end. With the help of Autopilot, all I need is to take a screenshot and to upload it to apps. Using our computer vision and large language models, a new application is built in seconds. With just a few clicks, Autopilot generated the required fields to onboard a new organization. And it's not only the front end, since the data service is generated automatically to store a record every time the application is submitted. Apps allow me to write expressions to fully customize the task I want to accomplish. With the help of Autopilot, I will describe in natural language what I need, and it will help me by generating the expression. I can also ask for more changes, like making the input to lowercase. Of course, for this process to be fully automated, I want to save the data in some external systems. For this, I will describe the job I need to be accomplished. And I want to create an account in Salesforce to use the recent UiPath capabilities to summarize, to notify the team over Slack, and to create a task into our tracking system. Once again, Autopilot will assist by converting the description into automation steps that can be configured and customized in Studio. These features enable developers of all skills levels to accelerate the creation of automations and to significantly reduce the complexity, making it a truly low-code experience. The output is an automation constructed using our activities based on the steps described in natural language. Autopilot populates fields as instructed, such as filling in values for the team channel. For the next step, we want to use automation to input customer details automatically into SAP. Additionally, Autopilot can analyze the target application, and based on our user description, it can understand the elements, identify the target selectors, and construct a sequence of activities to fulfill the task. In our case, we want to fill all the details. At any time, we can monitor the output and we can review the corresponding activities and the identified elements. For today's automation, I would like to also input the standard address section so I can send a new request to expand the already identified steps. Once I am satisfied with the results of the UI automation via Autopilot, I have the option to return to the Studio Designer to refine and complete my automation by doing any necessary adjustments, ensuring that the automation operates smoothly and meets the required specifications. For the final step in my automation, I am required to input a value for the account number in Salesforce. In accordance with company policy, this ID must be a unique value which is achieved by appending a timestamp. I will explain this to Autopilot to demonstrate how simple it is to generate expressions from business specifications. Empowering developers to reach their peak, Autopilot for Developers is a game changer. By transforming complex automations into a few simple steps, we're not just saving time, we're crafting a revolution in efficiency. Let's explore the end-to-end flow now that the automation is live. Any supplier will be greeted with a welcome email that invites them to self-onboard via an app. This public app, generated with Autopilot, can be accessed by any vendor and then can provide the needed information. Submitting the form information will trigger the automation that onboards the vendor in SAP. This is using your automation and we can see the robot in action. Once the registration is complete, the vendor will receive an acknowledgement. Besides SAP, the account is also registered in Salesforce and a follow-up task is created in Asana. Remember that all these steps were sent to Autopilot in natural language, which assisted us in building this automated process in less than 5 minutes. Autopilot for Developers.
So basically you saw that the whole development works. It's happening. We have a studio. There are two studios. There is Studio and Studio X. It's web-based, or there is another older version too. And there is a dialogue between the developer and the Autopilot. And there are some functions which actually will be exposed through an API with a new version which is coming out. You have text to workflow, text to regular expression. You have another application of a document, which can be an image or a PDF, to UX. So there are these conversions, these functions, which will be able to be used by an API. Another interesting part is the effect in the testing. Actually, we have a testing team, and you'll hear different accents here. The previous accent was from Romania, where we have a development. Now you will hear an Austrian accent, where is our testing team. And you will see how this guy, Ingo Philipp, is a fantastic presenter. He's one of the leads of the testing team in Vienna. And you will see how they use Gen AI for the testing.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Autopilot for Testers, a collection of advanced AI capabilities designed to revolutionize testing as we know it. With Autopilot, you can generate manual tests from requirements in Test Manager, automate these tests in Studio, and gain real-time insights into your entire test portfolio in Test Manager. Now, let's see it in action. In Test Manager, simply go to your requirements, select one of these requirements, and click Generate Tests. Autopilot then gets to work analyzing the details of that requirement to promptly suggest the top manual tests for that requirement. After that, just select the tests you want to create, hit Create, and your manual tests are ready and linked. Now, let's head over to Studio to automate these manual tests. To do that, select one, and with a single click, bring it into Studio. Now, this converts the test steps of that manual test case into code comments. With your object repository holding the technical components of your application, Autopilot has all the tools it needs to work its magic. Just hit Generate Code and it begins. Autopilot then analyzes the test steps, taps into our driver framework, and there you have it. Your manual test is now automated. Now let's head back to Test Manager to see how Autopilot helps to analyze the test results of all the test cases we just automated in Studio. To do that, let's go to the Test Results section, where all your test results are listed. Now, to make sense of these hundreds of test results, simply click Generate Insights. Autopilot then sifts through these large volumes of data, and once done with analyzing, Autopilot shows you which tests are failing, gives you insights about why they are failing, and also provides actionable recommendations to fix your failing tests. Now, that's analysis made easy. So that's the essence of how Autopilot brings the power of AI to every phase of testing. So what's the motivation behind Autopilot? Well, we developed Autopilot with one goal in mind: to enable testers to always perform at the highest potential. In essence, we aim to empower every tester to be the best. Thank you so much.
So you saw here a combination how you are integrated and using the Autopilot is the agent, which calls different products which are on our platform. It was Test Manager, then you had the Insights, which is our data analytics. And these combining this together based on commands, the user basically always is in the loop, but it's only directs what type of test. And they actually generate test data too, synthetic test data for your test. So this is one of the most successful usage of our platform. It's a very, very high growth of this test manager. Now, the ideal, which everybody talks about, is to have an Autopilot for everybody. And I recently, you probably heard the Mustafa Soleiman talking about his vision about what is the future of AI with these agents when his son is asking him what AI is. And he explains that basically it's an agent which basically will help everybody in what he's doing. And And obvious, we are doing this Autopilot for everyone, and you can see that we have all these tools there. So we have an integration service. We can integrate very easy with any application. We acquired a company called Cloud Elements. And then we have these functions which basically understands the way you work. We have even a task manager which you can look at people, what they do, and generate workflow. And I will show you, this is a long one. This basically, it's an agent I can show you after. It's pretty long. It basically shows how you upload the conference, and then the agent basically generates everything for you, checks your passport, also reserves the hotel and everything. If you are interested, I will show you after. I'll show you here. This is an example of the physician, how it uses. I'll show you this one, which I think is pretty interesting.
In this video, we'll showcase how UiPath's Autopilot for Assistant can provide real-time support in preparing a physician for a patient encounter. I'll be playing the role of a surgeon who is about to see a patient referred to me by his PCP. I'd like to walk into the conversation with a better understanding of the patient's medical history in order to provide better and more efficient care. The patient's medical record contains information including his registration form, medications, summaries, SOAP notes, lab results, charts, diagrams, and more. We'll upload this record to Autopilot and begin asking questions about the patient's condition. The first question we'll ask is about the current diagnosis in order to get some basic information. Autopilot will take the uploaded document and leverage a large language model to internalize its information and allow for Q&A. It will then take the question I've asked and respond accordingly. You can see Autopilot has recognized the patient has been diagnosed with a recurrent right angle hernia, while also providing some other relevant context, such as the patient's name and previous surgical history. The next question we'll ask is about the patient's current medications, as we'll perform a brief drug utilization review to understand how we might proceed. Again, the correct information was extracted along with relevant context, including that hydroxyzine should not be given intravenously, even though this was simply listed as not to be given IV in the chart. An important note is that Autopilot can be trained and customized as you like. For example, if the physician would want a common set of information before each encounter, this could all be retrieved with a single question. Suppose we've completed the encounter now, and I'd like to wrap up by closing the loop and kicking off the next phase of the patient lifecycle. First, I'll help my charge capture and coding teams by providing an initial ICD-10 code, hopefully avoiding the need for a follow-up asking for more information, saving more time down the road. What you're seeing here is Autopilot wanting to gather additional information in order to process this request, so it has triggered an AI automation to help. These automations have not been pre-built by anyone. Rather, the large language model will create one on the fly, inferring the process steps along the way. As the process completes, we receive the diagnosis code. If the process generated by the AI automation is one I'd like to keep, share, and reuse in the future, I'm able to open it and have Autopilot in Studio create a workflow using the exact steps performed. Either myself or professional developers can take that workflow and edit it if needed. Lastly, in order to keep medical continuity, I'll provide the patient's PCP with my recommendations and close the loop. In this example, I will simply ask Autopilot to send an email, but I could just as easily ask it for something else, such as submitting notes into the EMR. If you notice, I asked to send the email to the PCP, which was not referenced previously. Autopilot is able to understand who this is based upon the original document and pulls Dr. Moore's name. For this demo, I will send the email to myself, and in a few moments I have received it in my inbox. To summarize, You've seen UiPath's commitment to embedding advanced AI and large language models into its core platform, enhancing the productivity of all users. This demo focused on healthcare providers, but could be easily applied to other areas, such as prospective utilization management reviews and intake specialists helping potential plasma donors work through an SOP. Thank you for watching.
Now, I will finish with this one. Everybody loves IRS. So we are working with the IRS, and I'll show you an autopilot. So we have to watch what we do with our taxes. So I am asking what are the open cases? I'm an agent. And I have a conversation with Autopilot about what I want to do. I search the tax code, whatever. Obvious, this is, we call this context grounding. This, the whole Autopilot, it has to be pre-trained. We have a whole support for RAG and context grounding because you have to upload all the legislation, whatever they use. You start taking the documents in, it uses here forms and any other documents and uses our document understanding platform in behind the scenes to extract the data. And then it asks, are there any discrepancies between the reported data in the files? So if you have multiple files, it actually it can find problems, and it will find you the problems here between certain fields that you wrote in one way in one place and another way. I'm sure this can be used in New York right now. And basically, it's an agent which helps the work of the government. So I stop here with the demos. After I can show you many demos, just tell me what type of industry are you interested in. So obvious, it's integration with ServiceNow. You can create tickets and ServiceNow takes care. You get these long time workflows, which allows you to keep the human in the loop. And if people have to approve and do different things, these workflows still open until the whole thing is finished. So I can show you, we have all these predefined models, tons of models. We call these specialized models, which are predefined. You also can develop models. We have two products, which is called comms mining and process mining, document understanding. The CommPath is an LLM specific to analyze communications with customer, developed in-house. And we have the DocPath, which is helping you in extract data. We are also using active learning. If you don't know what it is, I'll be happy to tell you about. It's a method to optimize the labeling, reducing the labeling and label only the things that you are interested in. And basically, we have all these, we have this studio, and actually in these activities, we provide all these tools that people can use when you develop everything, this AI related to closely integrate with all the LLMs. And because we talk about the trust layer, we have something called the trust layer, which provides the functionality. Each time when you go out and you use an LLM, it has to go through this. And then we ensure we have rules, we have PII and data filtering and all this context grounding, which all are under the supervision of this gateway, which ensures that we stay we stay compliant with all the rules. So basically, I will finish here. We can talk after. You can try out Autopilot if you go to UiPath.com Insider, and I'm open to discuss more and more details of all this and to show you other demos if you are interested. Thank you very much. One of the thing how this company started, that's why it's called UiPath. They started as a UI automation software, which is actually in the RPA language was the attended bot. And basically you can go on a screen, and it's called UiPath because if you have a screen, you have a way to access every field there through a path. And that was their observation for their startup. But what we do, we have API automation because we have an integration service. We acquired Cloud Elements, which it's actually a hub-spoke type of integration service. And we have also UI automation, which is for the systems who have no API. So you can do both. So, for example, depends on what system you work. So we cover every way to integrate with for example, we can do even old systems through Citrix doing the screen type of integration too. So there are two of them. Thank you very much.